to WNBA Now's 2025 Free Agent Extravaganza Tier List. Welcome back, y'all. How's everybody doing out there in WBB land? We are back with another video. And today's a fun one, y'all. Today we'll be making a tier list of the top 2025 unrestricted free agents headed into next season. Now, as you can see, there are only 5 categories listed. We got the franchise changers. We got the starters. We got the key rotational pieces. We got the 8 to 12 minutes a night players. And of course, we can't forget the towel waving bench mob. Now, to make this list a little bit more fun and a little bit more challenging, I've decided to cap each category at 6 players max. Basically, what this means is while there are 36 free agents listed here, there aren't that many spots on this tier list. That means there's going to be several players waiting on that waiver wire for that phone to ring. So, as always, grab a soda, grab a chair, let's get it popping. Okay, folks, without further ado, I've gone ahead and randomized these 36 unrestricted free agents. I might throw some in one category with the option to move them down later. So let's get it cracking, baby. Okay, we start off with BG, Brittney Griner. I think Brittney Griner's pretty set in Phoenix. She's been cored 2 times already. Can't be cored. Don't think they need to. Don't think she's going anywhere. We're going to go ahead and throw her up in the starter. Now, this will be interesting because I only have 6 starters, and there's definitely more than 6 starters down here. What you'll notice, too, about like franchise changer, there are not 6 franchise changers. So like I said at the top, there's definitely going to be some players left on the bench. Next up, we got Cheyenne Parker Tyus. This one is going to be very interesting. I'm going to be very curious to see if a new coach in Atlanta maybe lures her back to Atlanta. Maybe they use the franchise tag. Maybe they try to get this nucleus one more go around. I don't know. I don't really see it. I feel like they're going to let her go her separate ways. I feel like Golden State could be an option as an unrestricted free agent. We're going to throw her up in starter, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have to move her down to rotational piece. Next up, we got Victoria Vivians. Now, okay, Victoria Vivians started some games early in Seattle. They chose to keep her over some other players like Jade Melbourne and even Joyner Holmes, who's also on this list down here. I didn't really love this save. We're going to keep her down here because I do not think she's going to make my top list. Next up, we got Erica Wheeler. Oh my gosh, towel wagger. Here we go. Let's just put you up right there. We'll see. I'll see. I think she's definitely going to make the bench mob, but I don't know. Looking at some of these players, it could be tough, believe it or not. Next one, Jessica Shepard. Jessica Shepard, as you know, did not play this past season. She played in Minnesota 2 years ago. I really like her. In fact, there was some speculation that they might take her over Bridget Carlton. They didn't, which ended up paying off huge. But now Shepard is an unrestricted free agent. A team like Las Vegas might really be in the market for somebody like Jessica Shepard. She's going to be probably pretty cheap. I definitely think she's going to be back in the league for sure. I'm going to put her right now for the time being in key rotational. I really like her game. I think she can do a lot from passing to a little bit of spacing, and she can knock down a shot if she needs to. So I like her. Nneka. We got Nneka. Okay, no real need to think about this. She's obviously a starter. For people not wondering why she's in the franchise changer, well, frankly, she's not a franchise changer. She's really great. She's fantastic. But we just saw her with Seattle, and the franchise was not changed. She's fantastic. She's a, let's say, top 10, 15 player in the league, still putting up prolific numbers. She needs some outside shooting, and then I think that Storm team will really flourish. Next up, we got Tiffany Mitchell. Tiffany Mitchell is interesting. She was obviously a part of the trade that sent Heidemann over to Minnesota. I thought Tiffany Mitchell had a great season in Minnesota, really had some great spurts of scoring. Didn't really find any footing, had some injuries, and then never really made that rotation. I definitely think there's a place for Tiffany Mitchell in this league. We're going to throw her up in the old 8 to 10 category to start off. I feel bad right now because I'm thinking like I'm going to have to take some folks down. I mean, Victoria Vivians, I'm almost sure is not getting on this list now. Next up, Kelsey Mitchell, of course. Kelsey Mitchell, she's going to be cored by Indiana. No doubt starter. You could potentially, with this particular class, make the argument as a franchise changer. I don't think so, but this is filling up pretty quick, folks. We got Monique Billings. Monique Billings, really awesome story. You know, Atlanta gave up on her. At Los Angeles gave up on her. Dallas signed her with a hardship contract. They had to let go of her. Then, of course, she lands in Phoenix, has a great season. She's absolutely going to be on a roster next season. I think a key rotational piece. You're going to hear me say Las Vegas with like every front court player, but that's where I could see her for sure, for a really reasonable price. Next up, Vandersloot. Vandersloot, if anybody's known me in the last, 12 to 18 months, I've been basically very hard on Courtney. I'll always preface it with the first ballot Hall of Famer. That said, her role is right here. Now, if New York wins a title, maybe she rides off into the sunset. I think the writing's on the wall. She's no longer a starter in this league. She's been gracious. Her minutes have been fantastic, by the way. She's actually looked so much better this postseason than the last postseason. She's not going against all the number ones. She has a lot less pressure on her shoulders. She has some confidence back. She's better rested. So, if anything, this is where I see her. I'm not sure. Like I said, if obviously I'm saying this is Sunday, the day of the Game 5 in Barclays. So if they end up winning, I don't know. Maybe that's curtains for her, but 8 to 12 is where I see her. Next up, we got Maisha Hines-Allen. She's having a bit of a rough finals, but I definitely think that she is still in this key rotational piece. She's definitely going to find a home. She's definitely going to sign a contract for 150 plus. Definitely think it's going to be a 1-year contract. And what I'll say about a lot of these free agents here, I anticipate a massive amount of 1-year deals because, and the better the player is, the more likely the 1-year deal, because there's a new CBA right in the horizon. That means all these players' pay is going to go up. So, what was usually somewhere in that 220 max range, that's going to go up. That could be anywhere from 250, 275. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 300,000 for the max salary, which also means those basement salaries are also going to go up. So I can see a lot of 1-year contracts in the very near future. Next up, we got Mercedes Russell. This is interesting. I think Mercedes Russell definitely has a role in the WNBA. I'm not sure how big it is, and I think it's definitely team dependent. We're going to throw her bench mob right now. She'd be a great piece to have on the bench if you need that kind of third rotational big. Obviously, Seattle, she's been there, but I don't really know if she has 8 to 12, but we'll keep her there for right now. Next up, Aerial Powers. Aerial Powers, I was a big fan of Aerial Powers. Still am a big fan, by the way. In Minnesota, I definitely thought she should have been utilized more. Then I kind of got into some more and more tape, and I kind of got in to see that, the ball kind of disappears when it gets into Aerial Powers' hands. 100% is in the league. 100%. I don't know if she's a key rotational piece. I think on a bad team, she could put up some good numbers. I think she can be an offensive spark plug on a second unit. We're going to throw her up in 8 to 12 right now. So we're filling up there too. Next up, Bree Turner. This is another interesting one. Obviously, she's never had an offensive game. She's always been a great defensive player, great rebounder. The league is moving away from these one-dimensional, non-offensive players. Like, you're going to get a lot more run if you have really good offense and really bad defense. We're going to throw her in bench mob, but I don't know. I don't know how much time she's got left. Sammy Wickham. I thought Wickham would get more run in Seattle. I thought she'd have a better year. She was like the only established shooter that Seattle had, and she really didn't do much. She's definitely still got some run. She's definitely going to start in the bench mob for now, potentially move her up to 8 to 12. Alyssa Thomas. Here we go. First franchise changer. Now, I'll be very curious. I did a video on the Golden State Valkyries expansion draft. We talked about Connecticut a lot. I do think Alyssa will be that protected and cored player in Connecticut, whether that's having her come back or whether that's potentially making a big trade to get a lot of assets back to try to start that rebuild in Connecticut, maybe around Dejanay Carrington. Next up, we got Kia Nurse out of Los Angeles, unrestricted free agent. She's definitely got a place. I think Kurt Miller played her too much. That's for another video altogether. I see her as an 8 to 12. I see her as a great kind of Vandersloot-esque, probably, obviously much younger, probably a little bit more upside than a Vandersloot at this point. Still has some run. Can definitely overshoot. There's no question about that, but definitely on a roster next year. That's 100%. We got Bree Jones out of Connecticut. Man, Connecticut's got their 3 big players under unrestricted. We're going to put her up in this starter. Now, here's the thing. Also in that Valkyries expansion draft video, I talked about, I don't know what kind of market is going to be for Bree Jones. And that's not because I don't love her offensive game. That's because so many more teams are going to spread offenses. They really want to space the floor. They really want to get up and down. Bree Jones doesn't really do that for you. We saw in both of the Connecticut playoff series, there were times where you couldn't have Bree Jones on the floor because of the opponent's matchups. So once again, she's 100% getting signed. I don't know if she's going to be signed to the max. I wouldn't be signing her to the max. I'd be signing her for a really nice, hefty contract. But it will be interesting when teams start scrambling if they kind of get nervous and maybe offer her, that 1-year max. So will be interesting. She also can't be cored, so, she can go wherever she pleases. Natisha Heidemann, great little pickup by Minnesota. I think she improved her game. She fit, I feel like, a lot better in Minnesota. 100%. We're going to throw her up. We're going to throw up her in key rotational because she's a key rotational piece right now on a championship caliber team. So it's hard to change that right there. We got DT, Diana Taurasi. Now, I know it's been widely speculated she's going to retire. I have yet to hear her say, see you later. I'm going to keep her down here. If she was to potentially say, I want 1 more year, it's obviously going to be in the bench mob or the 8 to 12 if she wants another farewell. Kelsey Plum Dog, millionaire. Now, some people say starter. I'm going to throw her up all the way here. Franchise changer. The reason I think she's a franchise changer is because if she goes to Golden State, that is going to change their first season in the league dramatically. Now, I personally think, where is she down here? Natasha Howard is going to be the player that they core, but let's say Vegas does not core Kelsey Plum. Let's say Kelsey Plum wants to be the face of the Valkyries franchise. I could see her really doing some serious damage as that number one player in a Golden State uniform. Definitely, I see her as a top 5 scorer potential. Obviously, it's going to be, roster dependent, but I absolutely think Kelsey Plum can be a franchise changer. Tina Charles, another ageless wonder. Holy mackerel. Had Atlanta's first triple-double ever at, 36 years old, I think it is. So I don't know if she's going to come back. I don't know. She obviously still has a run in her. I don't know at what price point. She could be another one. I hate to be a broken record. She could be another one that's a key rotational piece, maybe in Las Vegas. Maybe she wants to go ring hunt and say, hey, let me go give Asia a little, blow from time to time. Put up some numbers, be a contributor on a championship organization. So we're going to put here, maybe she drops down to 10 to 12. We're getting full. 5 starters, 5 key rotationals already. Oh, Brianna, we don't need to even talk about her. She's obviously the franchise changer. She's obviously not going anywhere. She's very happy in New York. So that's a great example of one that's an unrestricted free agent, not going to be cored, but she ain't going nowhere. Here is a fun one. Elena Delle Donne. Now, if Elena Delle Donne was 5 years younger, absolutely in franchise changer. If Elena Delle Donne was healthy for any of the last 5 seasons, she'd also be a franchise changer. This one's really interesting. I'm going to go ahead and throw her in. If she comes back or gets traded, because she's going to be cored again, I think, by Washington. I definitely think she could be a starter. Maybe key rotational is more likely considering she just took a full year off and she hasn't played a healthy season in a long time. But she would be the first one to drop down for me. But we're going to put her there to start. I hope she comes back. Once again, Las Vegas would love to have a player like that coming off the bench, can play multiple positions and be an absolute nightmare for defensive matchups. Next up, we got Diamond DeShields. I really thought Diamond DeShields was going to be more of a factor in Chicago. Sadly, she was not. I think she's probably not going to go for very much. I think she's going to probably have to prove herself. I think right now she kind of is where she was in Chicago, which is that 8 to 12. I don't know if she's a key rotational piece. I definitely think it's team dependent. If she goes to a team that's not really playoff caliber or second playoff caliber, I think she could be a key rotational piece on there. Any championship contender, I don't really see that as of now. Next up on the list, Alicia Clark. I think she's going back to Vegas. I don't think they have to worry. I think she loves it there. That said, I think she's getting a little long in the tooth as well. The defense, not quite as good there. I think she's going to go from that key rotational to that 8 to 12. This is another reason Las Vegas is really going to have to hit that market. They depended, I think, a little too much on Alicia Clark. I think she's similar, more legs than Vandersloot, but I think she's similar. She's better in shorter bursts. She can do more in those games where she plays, let's say 12 to 15 rather than 18 to 22. So that's where I see her. Ooh, Walker Kimbrough, here we go. I've mentioned her a lot in that Valkyries piece. I like her. I think she's 100% a key rotational piece no matter where she goes. I think you're going to see her minutes go up. League is trending towards shooting. Now she needs to work on that 3-point percentage, but she can definitely space the floor. She can definitely extend. She can take off the dribble. I like her a lot. I look for Washington to definitely try to make a deal. If not, she definitely could be a Golden State Valkyrie. I absolutely see that. Next up, we got Kennedy Burke. Now, Kennedy Burke is probably, well, it'll be interesting actually. New York's got their 6 protected for sure. They're probably going to offer Courtney Vandersloot a seat back at the table. Kennedy Burke will be interesting. I think in a different place she'd be playing more, but she is getting some minutes. She gets a couple minutes. I'm definitely going to put her on bench mob. I definitely think she's got a place in the league. Next up, Joyner Holmes. Like I already mentioned her about the Victoria Vivians. I would have selected her over Vivians. That said, I can't really put her up in the bench mob right now, seeing as I see Gabby Williams right next to her. And here is, and then Satu. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting, folks. Okay, first of all, Gabby Williams, we got to put her up in this starter. She's 100% a starter. Now, whether or not she comes to and play is a totally different story, but let's assume she is. She's absolutely starting. That goes ahead and means EDD is down to that key rotational piece. Ooh, man, that gives me 7 there. Oh my gosh, folks, what am I to do? This is, okay, so we're just going to put them up right now. I'm a little flustered because I have not done this, so I apologize. First of all, let's get Satu up here. Satu, now some people might have a problem with this. I think she's a franchise changer. She's super young. She can do it all. She's improved her 3-point shooting. She can play in the post. She's big. She rebounds. She gets up and down the court. I think any team, she could be the face of that franchise. Absolute franchise changer. That actually helps me out with this tier list. So I can at least have 4 up here. We got Odyssey Sims up next. Odyssey Sims is really interesting too. I have no idea why she sat on the waiver wire for pretty much all season until Dallas picked her up on a hardship, had to let her go, finished out the year in Los Angeles. I mean, she's a veteran guard that can score. I gotta think there's a place for her in the league. We're gonna go ahead and throw her up in bench mob. Here's another queen of the bench mob. We got Sydney Colson right up here. It'll be interesting if Vegas brings her back. She started playing more at the end of the season. I don't know if that's simply because the guards in Las Vegas were run absolutely ragged, so they needed somebody to step in and take some minutes. I know they love her in Vegas. I know she loves Vegas. I know she's a great personality. I don't necessarily know that it works that well there, but we'll keep her right there for now. Oh man. Okay. Here we go. We got Dewana Bonner. Now, of course, Dewana Bonner, you know, it's interesting because she did come off the bench a couple times when Steph White was trying to work on rotations there in Connecticut. I think she's getting up there in age. No question she can start. The question is, will she start? I guess it depends on what team. For the sake of this, we kind of got to put her at key rotational because I don't think she kind of starts over these 6 here. And then we got Natasha Howard, who's 100% a starter. So now we got some decision. Oh my goodness. And then we have Isabel Harrison, who I think can be a key rotational piece. Oh my gosh, folks. Once again, I apologize. We're going to have to do some real time on the fly thinking. Okay, so first and foremost, these players are not making the cut, okay? Vivians, we got Joyner Holmes, we got DT out. They're waiting by the phone. Now, to be clear, if Taurasi did want to come back, I have no doubt Phoenix is not going to take her back. But for the sake of this, I'm saying, I'm sorry, thank you for the service, but you should retire because we're not taking you back. Let me see here. That means I think Seattle is going to have the most kind of casualties here. Folks. Oh, Brianna Turner is coming off the list immediately. Okay, so the bench mob, we got to change somebody else because Isabel Harrison is definitely, maybe she's more of the 8 to 12, which means that somebody's got to go down a notch. Maybe, oh my goodness, folks. This is a lot. harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, we're once again, bear with me. We're going to go ahead. I know this is crazy. We're going to go ahead and just put Cheyenne Parker Tyus down to key rotational. These 6 are set. There's only 4 franchise changers. We got AT, we got Kelsey Plumdog Millionaire, we got Brianna, and then we got Satu. Okay, they're set. Nobody else is going up there. Starters, we got BG. You can make the argument she'll be down 1 rung in a year. We got NECA, we got Kelsey Mitch, we got Bree Jones, we got Gabby Williams, we got Natasha Howard. Those are set. So these key rotationals are going to be, I guess, okay, let's go ahead and see who's stuck here. Okay, so she's a key rotational for sure. We're going to put Jessica Shepard down for a second. I think Mo Billings definitely has to be a key rotational piece. I definitely think she has the ability. Same with Maisha Hines-Allen. Oh my goodness. Same with, oh my gosh, folks, there's no way I can take DeWanna Bonner down. She's absolutely a key rotational piece. If Elena Deladon comes back even 75%, she's absolutely a key. So they're locked in. Parker Tyus is locked in. I'm going to move Tina Charles down, even as great a season she has. She's just older. I think 8 to 12, you get the maximum amount. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put Heidemann down a rung. So here we go. We got Parker Tyus, Mo Billings, Maisha Hines-Allen, Walker Kimbrough, EDD, and then we got DeWanna Bonner. I think that is how I have to do this. That's absolutely how I have to do this. Okay, we're moving along, folks. 8 to 12 per night. Okay, so who are absolutely going to be on this list? Isabel Harrison for me is absolutely on the list. Alicia Clark is absolutely on the list. So those 2 locked in. Tina Charles, if she wants to come back, she's absolutely on this list. So those 3 are in. Heidemann is definitely in. That's 4. I'm going to say Jess Shepard is actually my 5th. And then now it's between Diamond DeShields, Kia Nurse, Aerial Powers, Vandersloot, Tiffany Mitchell. Okay. Who's going to be that last piece? Oh my gosh. I think I am going to go with Diamond DeShields. I think she's young enough. I think she's got the offensive bag enough. I think she's got enough defense in the tank to be good for 8 to 12. I think she's just too talented and age-wise fits the mold of somebody that could definitely, an 8 to 12 a night minute player. Most every team would be very happy to bring her off the bench for 10 minutes a night, which means Kia Nurse is down, which means Aerial Powers is down, which means Vandersloot is down, which means Tiffany Mitchell is down. Oh, folks, we're getting some upset people are these players, by the way, will all be in the league. So, well, maybe not all, but most of these players will still be in the league. They're just not making our list. Okay, who do I see? I think Vandersloot still has some run, but I'm going to go ahead and take her off because I think there's other more valuable assets. I'm going to keep Aerial Powers. Once again, I think she's too young, got too much game, too much in the tank to not have on a bench somewhere. Sammy Wickham, I think she's going to come off as well. I know this is going to sound ageism, but I think she's got a lot of mileage on those legs. I didn't really see all that I wanted to see. I think it'd have to be a particularly good situation for you to get a lot of production. So she's going to come down too. That means we need to make 2 more cuts, y'all. Mercedes Russell, I think she might be too long to take down. Odyssey Sims, I was just singing the praises. How could she be off so long? I think I'm going to have to take her down after all with the other options that I have, which means Tiffany Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, the Bench Mob Queen, Mercedes Russell, Kennedy Burke, Aerial Power, Sydney Colson, Kia Nurse. Man, this is a tough one, folks. I know a lot of, oh my goodness gracious. I'm just going to do it. The bench mob queen is coming off the board, folks. That is going to be the list. Oh my goodness. And I apologize. I didn't realize how hard this was going to be, folks. But it certainly was when you're getting into those key rotationals and those 8 to 12 pers. Let's do a quick recap. The franchise changers. AT, Plum Dog, Brianna, Satu, the starters, BG, NECA, Kelsey Mitch, Bree Jones, Gabby Williams, Natasha Howard. The rotational pieces, man, these are great rotational pieces. Parker Tyus, Mo Billings, Hines Allen, Walker Kimbrough, EDD, Dewana Bonner. The 8 to 12 per night, you'd be lucky to have all these players doing 8 to 12. Jessica Shepard, Heidemann, you got the Ageless Wonder, Tina Charles, Diamond DeShields, Alicia Clark, Izzy Harrison, and finally the bench mob. We got Tiff Mitchell, Mercedes Russell, Kennedy Burke, Aerial Power, Sid Colson, and Kia Nurse. Wow. There you have it, folks. So what did we end up getting? 24. We had 28 of the 36 available unrestricted free agents. And of course, remember, there are still restricted free agents. So there's a lot of movement that could be happening in this upcoming season, folks. Oh my gosh, how exciting is that? Anyway, let me know in the comments, who do you think your franchise changers are? Who are your starters? What pieces would you change? Is there anybody that I left off the tier list that you would have up, and vice versa? Let me know in the comments. As always, like, share, and hey, hit that subscribe button. It's free.